Let me ask you something. Have you ever had the perfect day planned and then one cookie ruined everything? Not your friends, not the weather, one cookie. Well, if you've ever asked yourself, why do I do that? Today, you're going to hear something that will completely change how you think about cravings. And what I'm going to teach you takes about 30 seconds. I'm going to teach you today, big claim. I'm going to teach you today about how to get rid of cravings in 30 seconds. Because we know the pattern, right? Something gets into your head and then it sticks there and it continues to torment you. And then ultimately you give in to that craving and you find yourself feeling guilty. Like my aunt, who every night used to eat cake, and every night right after she would say, that was so unnecessary. Or how about this one? How about the thing where you have something in your house and you know it's there? Maybe it's a leftover, maybe it's a piece of cake, it's something, and you know it's there. And then that thought occurs to you, I could eat that. And then you say, no, I'm not going to eat it. It's going to derail me. It's going to derail my health plans. I'm trying to lose weight. And then there's a part of you that says, screw it. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to eat it. And you eat it really fast so you don't have to not eat it. So you can get it out of the way. Your rationale at that moment is, I want to get this out of my head. It's insane, right? But it makes all the sense in the world. And we're going to go over why that is now. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit here. Why do cravings have such power, have such control over us sometimes? Well, let's look at it like this. Your brain has one primary job. That's it. It's there to keep you alive. Survival is the thing. And one of the things that it does in order to help you survive is it detects threats. And if you're an anxious type, that is going on all the time, right? It's a constant thing. Your mind, your brain is looking around for threats and detecting them to help you survive, right? Now, one of the fastest ways to detect a threat is this thought: is something unresolved? Now, that thought may or may not be under your conscious control, right? That may be going on for you kind of subconsciously. But you're thinking, is this unresolved? And how many things do I have that are unresolved? And here's the key. The key is to understand that resolution is one of our primary jobs in life. It's one of our primary drives. And we don't talk about this so much, right? But finishing things, completing things, resolving things, it is absolutely essential to our survival. And it's part of what's going on. It's part of our operating system, and it's happening all the time. So get this: an open loop is treated by our subconscious, by our brains. So it's conscious and subconscious and physiological, right? But it's treated like danger. It's a threat. It's something that could imperil your survival. So when there's a craving, your brain isn't thinking, I want chocolate. It's not only thinking that, right? And your body, of course, wants the sugar and it wants the rush and all of that. But it's also thinking, I will die if I don't fix this. And here's where the power of cravings come from. Because your body actually marshals its survival mechanisms in order to keep you alive. To not eat that thing would be to court death at some level. Are you getting it? Like, does that make sense? It's a weird mechanism, but it's what happens because we have to close those loops. We can't have these unresolved things. And what do I mean by loops? Well, a loop is anything that's unresolved. So it could be a question asked. It could be a goal. It could be an intention. It could be receiving a bill, from the utility company, right? The loops don't have to come from within you. They can be given to you in a way, but the mechanism is still the same. So whether you're at a party and someone tempts you with something delicious, or you receive a bill, or you have something pending at work, or you need to clean up something, or there's something that that you haven't finished. There's something in your universe that is going unresolved. The alarm goes off. And it can go off very powerfully around the subject of food and cravings because of the physiological component as well. We have to eat to survive. And even though we know consciously it's just food and we can skip a meal and we can not eat that thing, we sometimes find ourselves shoveling things in. And then we ask, why? Why did I do that? It was so unnecessary. And this is why when you have a craving, think survival and think an unclosed loop. And this gets us into what's going on in the body and how to then resolve it. Because here's what cravings look like in the body. This is kind of let's think about this as a false alarm, right? And we've all experienced this. We get a craving, we get this thought in our head that we want to eat something, and then the battle begins, right? Because there's another part of us that says, no, we're committed to not eating this kind of crap. But then you start to feel like a buzzing in your head, right? They sometimes call that food noise. And maybe you salivate and your chest gets tight or your throat does, and you feel restless and jittery, and maybe your breathing is shortened. And again, it's just like it's a constant presence. It's a constant reminder. And that's why sometimes we'll shovel shit in just to shut off our own brains. And by the way, I'm using the term brain and mind interchangeably here. One's obviously physical and the other one is emotional, but they work together. Okay, so I think I'm on safe ground if I do that. But what we're seeing is threat physiology. This has the same symptoms as any other threat. All right, so here's the key shift. We have to understand that the feeling is real. It's literally going on in our bodies. We can't deny that. We can't fight it. We could try to ignore it, but it's happening. But the meaning itself is a lie. This communication that our bodies and our minds are sending us that, our survival is at stake unless we eat this thing. I mean, it's kind of an inversion because the thing we're eating might be poisonous, as in the case of sugar, for example. But internally, we're getting these messages that we are going to die if we don't have it. And that is why it is so hard to resist a craving. This answers the question, why can't I stop myself? And this is exactly why. Because your threat physiology takes over, and we shouldn't, but for the most part, we judge what's real by what we feel in our body. Most of us don't walk around saying, well, it's just my physiology. It's just my heart racing. It's just my physiology. We don't think like that, right? We're so in tune and we're so used to reacting upon those messages. So it is not real, but we don't know that it's not real at that moment, or at least some part of us doesn't, some part deep down. So what's the solution to this? Well, the solution is something that I call LNT. And LNT stands for loop neutralization technique. Because this is how we close the loop. If we can close the loop, we won't continue to be tortured. You understand? It'll continue to exist, and it will continue to exist as a threat. Except for those who say, screw it. I don't want to feel this, so I'm just going to eat the thing. And then go down a guilt spiral afterwards. So here's how we do it. The first thing we want to do is we want to be aware of the sensations in our body. We want to basically locate the loop, the unresolved loop that's in our body. So where are you feeling it? Is it that buzzing in your brain? Are you feeling it? Where in your body is it located? Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Are you salivating? What are your symptoms? Do not resist them. Feel them. Exaggerate them if you need to, right? But we're not fighting it. You can't win when you fight, when the enemy is yourself and your own physiology. That's part of the idea. That's part of why the book that I haven't written yet is called Give Up the Fight, Give Up the Fat. Okay. Now you're feeling it. You're really experiencing it. Now just take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Okay. A nice slow exhale. That's step 2. So step 1, locate the loop in your body. Where is that survival tension, which is what you're experiencing? Where am I feeling it? Next is the slow exhale. Okay. Because the breathing will tell the brain that you are in fact safe. And then consciously relax exactly where it's tight. So if that's your jaw, consciously relax your jaw. This is not hippie shit I'm talking. I want you to understand the mechanism of what's going on, and this is a method by which you can stop it. Okay? So relax those areas where you're feeling it. Your attention is on it. Again, we're so used to trying to avoid it or evade it or fight it. No, we're experiencing it. Our attention is on it, and we're consciously relaxing those areas where we're feeling it. Wherever it is. I don't know, maybe someone has it in the behind. That would be weird, but I don't know how you experience your physiology. We sometimes, by the way, call these type of symptoms somatics, right? Soma meaning the body. These are things that you feel, you experience in your body. Now, after we do that, after we breathe into it, we're relaxed. Now we notice that the tension is leaving those areas where we felt it in the first place. Now, consciously assert sovereignty, right? Assert ownership. Part of the shame comes from knowing that a little piece of food got the best of us, that we gave into it, right? We feel weak. We feel like we've sacrificed our own sovereignty, our own ownership of self. So let's reassert sovereignty. Just understand, and you don't have to say it as a mantra, just come up with the understanding. Yeah, my survival is not imperiled in this moment. It does not depend on this food. I've had cravings before. It's just a craving. And then lastly, just hold for 20 to 30 seconds. You can count if you need to. You don't have to. Okay, but just chill for 30 seconds. And just reestablish that realization that you are, in fact, in control of you. You are the boss of you. And this is very empowering. And it has applications to things other than food. We are speaking of it right now in the context of food. But the larger subject is self-control, and it's the mechanics of self-control. It's the mechanics of what's going on that causes us to give in. And it's about that drive for resolution. We hate when things are unresolved, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. The very idea of it, the very thought of it, once there's a question, once there's a mystery in our minds, can make us nuts. This is the stuff of sanity as well. And some of this won't be new to you. maybe the phrasing or the framing is, but this is kind of known technology in some sense, because this is what makes us tune in next week. This is how advertisers keep us on pins and needles, right? They pose that question, they create that open loop for us, and we want resolution. This is why I can't stop watching HGTV when I get into it. Once I see what the challenge was, I have to see how it turns out. So it really, this type of architecture is really fundamentally part of our operating systems. And the degree to which we can understand it and desensitize it is the degree to which we can be more in control. And obviously, we are speaking in the context of food. Why are we speaking in the context of food? Because today is December 9th. People are frightened of the holidays. They're frightened of this time of year because they know what they'll be confronting and they know their patterns. And they know once they get that thought in their head and that taste in their mouth, now all of their survival physiology is going to kick in. There's this unresolved loop. Will I or won't I? I have people coming up to me all the time and saying, "Doctor, I have a party this weekend and I'm scared." I mean, what are they scared about? Ultimately, they're scared about not being in control. They're scared about sabotaging themselves. And it seems like when you're in that situation that sometimes you're not in control. I mean, ultimately we are. If someone offered you $10 million not to eat that piece of cheesecake, I'm pretty sure you would be able to resist the cheesecake, right? But when you're in that moment, and again, that physiology kicks in and your body's saying, you must survive, you must survive. Not eating it is courting death. We're not going to court death. Of course, ultimately, you're going to give in. But now you have a technique for it. So let's review it. One more time. Locate the loop in your body is step one. Find it. Feel it. Feel those symptoms. Number two, take a nice, slow exhale. Number three, relax the areas where you're feeling the tension. Ultimately, what we're doing here is we're exposing the lie. And the lie is showing up in our body. Our body's lying to us. It doesn't know it is. It's just doing its thing. But when we can become consciously aware of it and address it and just relax into it, now the lie starts to dissipate. Then assert sovereignty. Tell yourself, my survival does not depend on this food. You might even want to tell yourself the opposite. I will survive better without this food. And then lastly, hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Let it set in. Let it kind of wash over you. Breathe. And you'll find you lose an awful lot of tension, and then you're more in control. It's wonderful. The key is, as with everything else, execution. Or as I like to tell my clients, it works a lot better if you do it than if you think about doing it. That's ultimately the key. They find the same things with parachutes, by the way. Works a lot better when you use them. All right. So I hope this is empowering for you. Okay. It's not about willpower. It's about closing that loop by the realization that your body is lying to you. All right. And understanding that your survival is not dependent on a piece of food. All right. So I want you to try this the next time you have a craving. Now, for some of you, that's within the next 5 minutes. Others, it might be a while, but try it the next time you have a craving. Quick story I've told before. If I've told it once, I've told it 100 times. I had a client one time, and she was having a lot of trouble saying no to food. And so what I said to her is, okay, I'm going to help you with this, but first you have to promise me that you will do exactly what I tell you to. And she said, well, what is it? I said, no. You have to promise me first And she said, okay. So I said, Mary, what's your favorite food? And she said, spaghetti and meatballs. I said, fantastic. What is there a place near you that makes it exceptionally well? She said, yes, absolutely. I have an Italian place right down the street. I said, great. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead, go to that Italian place and purchase the spaghetti and meatballs. Then I want you to take it home. I want you to sit down at the table, right? Plate it very nicely. Do what you do. Take a glass of wine, maybe a candle, right? Sit in front of that plate of spaghetti and meatballs and look at it and smell it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pick that plate up. I want you to take it over to the garbage and throw it out. She was not a fan of that idea, but she did it. And it turns out she was crying as a result of doing it. That willpower, right? That force that she needed to muster to overcome her body's own survival physiology was a lot for her. And she hated me, at least temporarily. So the next time I saw her, she told me this story, and then she told me, how much she hated my guts. And then she thanked me, and then she said she did feel more in control. And that's the ultimate part of the story. It's to regain ownership. Now, I gave you a process to do that. And I would suggest not skipping steps on that process. You could go straight to the end and say, this is bullshit, right? I own me. This food doesn't, and goodbye. It's more difficult that way because you're not dissipating that physiological reaction. That's the entry point that we're using here. And of course, if you need any help with this, go ahead, DM me or text me. Most of you have my number. I'm not putting it out here on the internet. You don't know who's going to get in touch with me. But contact me and we'll talk about it. And I will do my best to help you. Okay? That's it for today. Have a great holiday season. By the way, I didn't even mention this. Black Friday is still ongoing. And I know that it's weeks after, but I have a reason for this that I'm not going to share because it's embarrassing to me. So Black Friday has not stopped. Okay? So if you want the Black Friday promo, a lot of people have missed it and kicking themselves, but you can still have it. Go ahead, DM me, call the office, do what you need to do. All right, take care.